Right, now we are live.
Oh, it says live, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Hello, someone's joined us, I can see.
We're on Babbel. I can see us on Babbel, so.
And I can see it's on main page. So, wow, this is a success. Very happy about the picture. Nice. We'll just hover here until to see who joins us.
And immediately we lose Eden.
Oh no, where's she gone?
Oh.
It'll come back.
How have we lost Eden straight away? Oh, there you are.
We've got a couple of people. Got Holly and Sophie joined us. Hi, ladies.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Still not quite 2 o'clock, but shall we start? Yeah. So shall we start with?
So,
would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Eve. I'm from Baba and Boo and a reusable nappy company, and I'm really glad to be here chatting with you all for Reusable Nappy Week.
Fabulous.
Oh, Sophie says it's lovely to see all your beautiful faces today. So, yeah, Reusable Nappy Week, and we have the founder of Baba and Boo, Eve, and Charlotte is a firm favourite of this brand. So could not let Reusable Nappy Week pass us by without trying to touch base and have a little chat about nappies, about the brand, anything on the pipeline, and should we just get stuck in? Let's get stuck in. So the first question I feel like is where it all began. Would you like to tell us, how did Baba and Boo come to be? Where did the name come from? How long has it been established? What gave you that brainwave to start it? Like, tell us everything.
Well, it's kind of multi pronged, really. I had my little boy Seth in 2008, and while I was on maternity leave, I was a buyer. I had a really busy job, and I wasn't sure about going back to work. But while I was on maternity leave, I got made redundant. Little did I know that I was pregnant at the same time, so it's probably a good thing. I got a redundancy package, and I was going to use that to stay at home while I figured out what I was going to do. And while I was at home with 2 children under 2, I decided to start a business. Which I look back now and I think, what was I thinking? But it actually saved my sanity because it was something for me. So obviously going on to what am I trying to say? Losing my job basically and not having any salary, I needed to find ways to save money. So I had a friend that lent me some reusable nappies, and then I just loved them. You know, like everybody that starts using reusable nappies, you become obsessed with them. And it was like, everyone should use these. If I can use them, everyone can use them. And then I thought, I might have a go at trying to make these myself. And that's how it was born, really. It wasn't any big grand scheme. It was just born out of a love of cloth nappies. And that was back in 2009. So we've been going a fair whack. And my children are teenagers now, but I'm still here with the massive passion for cloth as ever I did back then. But the name comes from, it's their nicknames when they were little. So my son was Baba and my daughter was Boo. So my son's really entrepreneurial now, and he's like, well, I have shares in the business because it's my name.
I love that.
So yeah, that's how it began, really. Just born of a need to get away from CBeebies mainly, and a passion for cloth nappies. That's how it started.
That is incredible. I love that your son also he's not silly there. He's
no.
Entrepreneurial, genes clearly there.
Yeah.
Do you have, when it came to you said kind of you just decided to try and obviously make some yourself. Do you have any background in kind of sewing, design, textiles?
No, my mum's a seamstress, so She helped me kind of make the prototypes and send samples off to the factories and things like that. So it was my mum's sewing skills that helped me. But I think I grew up with make, do, amend. My mum was a seamstress, and my dad is just like cannot stand waste. Like literally, when he comes to the house, he's checking in my bin still what's in it, because he's so I grew up with that mentality that you make, do, and you mend, and you don't waste anything, and you don't put anything in the bin if you can help it. So that's kind of, when I came to use disposables, it's just like I've already got that guilt built in me. It'll never go. Like if you put anything in the bin, so putting a disposable in the bin. But I didn't know there was an alternative, to be honest. When I had Seth back in 2008, I literally did not know that reusable existed. And then as soon as I got into reusables, it was so good to not have a full bin and not have that guilt of filling your bin with disposables.
Well, speaking of your mum, does she still make the liners?
No, she actually passed that on. She's trained the team how to do it. So the team do it now. She hanged up. She's retired now, and she said, I don't want to spend my retirement cutting fleece liners.
I expect not a lot of people know that your mum was the creator of the brilliant fleece liners for
Yeah, she was, yeah. They're very much involved in the business there. It's very much a family-run business. My dad still hangs around, checking the bins mainly, and my mum helps with making prototypes if we've got new products kind of on the way. And yeah, they love it. They're my biggest cheerleaders, and it's quite lovely, really.
That is really lovely. That is really nice. My parents don't even know what I do, I don't think.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you about my mum. She's like, oh yeah, I bought this product, and it's something we sell, but she'd bought it from another site. You just got to love parents like that.
That's so funny.
Sorry, I had my little cloth bum has woken up. I thought she might nap for the entirety of this, but she's come to join in the fun.
Oh, how cute.
Quite cute.
Okay, so clearly you've got some really amazing kind of inspirational people who have instilled, I suppose, being eco and being mindful, and resourceful. So that's amazing. You've channeled it into something incredible. So talking about your range of products, is there any what nappy styles did you kind of I don't know, veer towards when you were using cloth with your daughter? Was there any style that you preferred? Like, do you have any nappy preferences?
Well, I always think pockets, because they're the simplest to use, because they dry quickly and you can change the absorbency to suit your child. And I just think they're the closest, in my opinion, to a single-use nappy. So you can make the switch and figure it out to suit your child. And they're really quick drying, I find. So I just think pockets are the way. The easiest switch to get into them, I think. Once you get into them and you know what you're doing, then you can kind of start exploring. But I just think they're the easiest way in.
Yeah, I must admit, that's one thing I really like about Bubba & Boo, is that because you're not bombarded with different types of nappies, that it's just easier. Sometimes there's just too much choice and it becomes more complicated, but because it's just the one type, it's a lot easier.
That's what we get asked all the time. Will you make wraps? Will you do this? And it's always, we've always said no, because it just becomes overcomplicated. And our mantra is keep it simple. Yeah, and that kind of guides every decision that we make. Is this simple? I mean, doing simple is the hardest thing to do, but that's the way that we like to be, and we just don't. We won't do that. We'll stick with the one type, two sizes. One type, two sizes. That's kind of the scope of our nappy range.
Yeah, no, I really agree with that, because I mean, we used Bubba & Boo. We used for the nappies we go to nursery, we used exclusively Bubba & Boo, just because I felt like these are the most simple nappies for nursery to handle. That they're also super, like you said, you can put in whatever you want. We always went for two bamboo boosters, and it just worked really well for us. So I just found that super simple.
Yeah, I like that. easy breezy, one and done, like you know where you stand. And like Charlotte said, if you've got other people helping out with children and childcare, then it's just so straightforward for them, isn't it, too? So, and you say you keep it straightforward, but let's not oversee or kind of overlook your beautiful prints and your designs. Where does your inspiration come from each collection?
Oh, all sorts of places. So, I mean, every print tells a story generally. I don't just like look at a trend chart and think, oh yeah, we'll do that. We tend to have a story for each collection and then find prints that fit in with that story, or it might be something that a print that then inspires the story of the collection. It's all about meaning. I think that's the thing with me in business, really. I like to have meaning behind why I do things. I don't just do it for commercial gain. I'm not like that. I don't call myself a good businesswoman sometimes because I don't want people to buy things that they don't need. So, you know, I can't encourage consumerism because that's the opposite of sustainability. And I think it's a really hard balance in this industry because you don't want to over commercialize sustainability. So it's really hard. It's a really hard balance. But I don't know how I got that. Yeah, I don't know how I got onto that from the story of prints, but it's like everything has to have a meaning. So, you know, we get asked all the time, will you do toys? Will you do this? Will you go into this? Will you go into this? And it's like, is there enough of that in the world? And will we add to that? Or, you know, we really question before we bring anything out. Does the world really need us to do that?
Do you have a favourite print that you've just like you chosen for your nappies? Have you got like your favourite ever?
It's really hard because we've got that many, but I think I absolutely love Elf Town. I love that collection because when we almost relaunched with that collection, so we redesigned the nappies for that collection. And I remember I sat with my daughter crayoning, and I drew one of the little elves with really big crayons that toddlers the children have, and I sent it across to our illustrator and I said, can you do this into a print? And she was like, oh, I'll have a go. And she did, and it came back lovely. So it kind of had a bit of a special meaning because I was sat drawing with my daughter while that one came to me.
Oh, I love that. That's such a lovely story to
that's really lovely.
That is gorgeous. Really, really lovely. Well, Beth's jumped ahead on my question. Do you have any tips? Like you spoke about keeping nappy and using cloth reusables quite straightforward, sticking to a specific type of nappy, which I do really think that's wise, to be honest. But do you have any tips or tricks when it comes to using cloth or caring for cloth? Like, is it as much as it's hyped up to be, like so much effort, or can it just be done quite simply?
No, it completely can be done simply. You know, we say use whatever washing powder that you use already, you know, that's safe for your baby. We don't kind of say you've got to use this washing powder. It can become so overwhelming, and it really doesn't need to be. So we're very much of the mindset, start with one. Like that's our kind of go-to tip, you know, just start with one. And for people, you get asked that question, how many do I need to get started? It's just one. That's all you need, and then build from there. See if that nappy suits you and your baby, and then move from there. And don't look online too much. I know that's really hard, but with parenting, I try to find one friend and one source, because Facebook and Instagram wasn't around when I was in my babies were really small. I can't remember the source that I used, but I used one source of information rather than searching them all, because it's all so disparate, all the different sources of information, and you become overwhelmed. So I think it's just a case of trying to just stick to one or two sources of knowledge and ask the brand. If you need help, ask the brand sometimes, because it can become, or where you bought it from, because it can just become so overwhelming. But no, I think it's just a poo catcher at the end of the day, and it's as easy to use as a bib. And I know that mums get really precious about nappies, because I did, and you still get sad that you're not washing them and putting them on the line, but they really are simple to use.
That is so true, and never underestimate the power of the sun. I find with nappies, does a world of good. Actually, rain, people like to chuck them out on a rainy day, don't they? I also, you made a really valid point there regarding making the change to use one nappy. Sorry, I've got a grumpy little cloth bum here. But you mentioned about just buying one nappy, and I think people forget that just by using one, you are going to cut down immensely on disposable going to landfill. So just even one, like, give it a go.
I know, that's it. Them at night or something like that, it's worth just having a go.
Definitely.
I think it's that all or nothing thing with sustainability, that people are overwhelmed thinking they've got to be perfect with it, and it's just not like that. The smallest thing can make the biggest of differences. It's so easy to become overwhelmed, isn't it? We live in the information age. But I just think,
and sometimes there can be a bit of snobbery about it, like people, like sometimes people, especially like you said about online and stuff, there can be a lot of attacking, like, oh, you're not doing it perfectly, so maybe you're using disposables when you go out, so you're not a true cloth nappy user or something like that. But I think most people recognize that it's not an all or nothing. It's whatever you can do is better than nothing. Small changes make big changes. Exactly.
It's what's that saying? We don't need one person doing it perfectly, we need 1 million people doing it imperfectly. And I think that applies to cloth nappies as well.
Definitely.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. So along those lines, are there any kind of myths that you've heard about using cloth? Things that you've heard that you're just like, that is so not true? Anything you want to dispel when it comes to reusable nappies?
Well, it's just that they're hard work, and I know where that comes from. It's a generation thing that, grandparents might be thinking that it's scrubbing and boiling and soaking and all of that, and then they pass that down, and then they think, oh, why would you want to do that when it's not actually like that? It's literally a couple of extra wash loads a week, and a trip to your washing machine instead of a trip to your bin. That's the kind of way it is, really. So it's dispelling that myth of it being, it's not harder work, it's different work. That's the myth, really. I think that's the biggest one. And then another one is like, well, but what do you do with the poo? That's one of the biggest.
Put it in the loo like you do with other poo. What is wrong with people?
It goes down the drain. Even through the washing machine, it goes down the drain where it's meant to be. But the funniest thing is, we had a lady that came to see us last week, absolutely overwhelmed with disposable nappies leaking. And I think people think that disposable nappies don't leak. So they ask, well, will they leak? And it's like, well, disposable nappies leak all the time, and you get poo all over baby grows, and you put that in the washing machine, and you don't think twice about putting that in the washing machine, but you think that putting a nappy with poo on in the washing machine is any different, and it's really not. So I think it's that, it's that myth that disposable nappies don't leak, and they absolutely do. Worse than reusable. So I think that's the biggest myth that we need to dispel.
That is so true. Because I'm just going to jump in here and tell a funny story, because my other half hates the poo scraping. So I don't think he's ever scraped a poo nappy over.
I can't scrape poo either. I don't scrape it. I flop it in.
But he does not deal with the cloth nappy washers. I deal with it, and he always sweared, you're clogging up the washing machine, blah blah blah, like, oh. And so this was a couple of years back when we were on the old house. It would have been with my middle son, and the washing machine started playing up, and he was like, see, these cloth nappies have blocked it up. And we obviously took out the filter and everything. And do you know what we found in there was an elastic band. And my other half has a habit of fiddling with elastic bands. He's always got one in his pocket on his wrist. So it's like, no, it's not mine. And you're elastic. So ever since then, he's not had a leg to stand on.
No, I must admit, I'm not a poo scraper. I don't know how people do that. I kind of flop it in, and if it's too bad, I tissue scrape, and then I just shove it in the in a rinse cycle, and I'm like, the washing machine will handle it.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I let the washing machine do most of the work.
Washing machine can handle everything. Everything stays in the bags. I just open the bags, throw them in. The washing machine will do it.
I have to say, Katie, because I used to use a spoon to do it, and then Katie actually mentioned in Babble,
with the knife, Katie with her
knife, and then chuck it in the washing machine with it. I was like, this is game changing. So I do that. I've got a cheapy IKEA kids knife, do the nappies, and it all goes in, and it's just so simple. So simple. So I'm just reading some of the comments here. Holly has said, and we must not forget that, you know, this week is all about reusable nappies, but there is another key item, and Holly has just said she loves her Baba and Boo wipes and loves using them to take her makeup off. And that is another very simple and effective switch that people can give a go. So talk to us about your wipes, and talk.
Well, that's often what we say. It's like if your friends, you can't convince, because everyone tries to convince the friends to use reusables. It's like if you can't convince them to use nappies, show them wipes, because they're, you know, like that can be if we can use wipes, then maybe I can use nappies, maybe I can use other waste saving products. So yeah, it is. It completely is. So our wipes are really loved. I use them every day, so they last like longer than, you know, you don't have to have a baby to use wipes. They come in for everything, don't they? Reusable wipes, they're amazing.
It's weird because when I was growing up, when I was very young, plastic wipes didn't exist, you know, disposable wipes didn't exist. Everyone just used flannels, and it's just like, why did we ever bring in wipes? Why don't we just, you know, it's weird. It's weird that wipes became a thing, and it's time to see the back of them because it's totally unnecessary. I mean, disposable wipes.
Rebecca Boyd's just put, she agrees wipes are a game changer, and I agree on that. Yeah, we're all on the same page here. So yeah, if you try anything this nappy week, and I mean, your kids don't even have to be in nappies, and it doesn't even have to be kids. You can use them yourself. Just try getting some wipes, because they're actually more effective, I find, also at taking off makeup. 100%. I can't remember the last time I bought a pack of disposable face wipes, because they're useless. So, and she's just, they make great dust after you've finished with cloth.
Yeah, cleaning cloths. Yeah, I use them for everything: cleaning, dusting, absolutely everything.
Yeah. James hates having his face wiped, but they're so soft. He loves them. It's the only things he'll wipe his face with because they're so soft. So,
So, before I ask kind of the final question that I kind of thought about, Simone says she's going to get me some wipes. Is there any questions? Does anyone watching have any questions? It's okay if not, you can just kind of watch and observe. But I suppose have a think if you've got any questions, and I'll ask kind of the final thing that I wanted to ask was, is there anything? Yeah, sorry, you jump in.
Sorry, no, because I wanted to come back to the about the balance between, you know, keeping things slow and sustainable, but also trying to maintain a profitable business, because those two things don't come hand in hand. They really, really don't. You know, obviously, we're also in the same line of business and trying to make sure that you're not adding to waste, especially when, you know, you have to bring out new prints because you have to maintain a sustainable business. How do you balance? You know, how do you balance it? It's just trying to do the best you can, because I hope people understand, I hope customers understand that it's really not an easy balance.
Not at all. The industry that we're in into sustainability is becoming so commercialized, so everyone's jumping on it. We're carbon neutral, when really, if you look behind that, they're not. They're just paying it off, you know. So it's really hard to stay, like, I've got a lot of integrity, so I don't really struggle with saying, I'd never say that we do something if we don't, because it just doesn't sit with me. So but coming back to your question, it's just the hardest thing to balance, because, you know, you can get business advisors who are saying, bring out more products, and why don't you diversify into this, and why don't you do this and do a sale and do this and do that? And it's like, no, because it's just encouraging consumerism. Like we never give discounts on Black Friday and all that kind of thing, because it just feels like I can't subscribe to that in a certain way. I understand that businesses do that, and that's fair enough, but that's one of the ways But yeah, I don't know the exact answer. I mean, we've got a set of values that I've worked with someone on. So I've got a bit of a guide in a North Star to know, does that fit with our values before we bring that product out. Like we've not brought a new product out until, like, was it last week? We brought out some nappy extenders, and they're just a tester to see how the market find them. But we literally don't bring out new products all the time because it just doesn't sit. We have tons of ideas, but they don't make it past our values book sometimes. Like, do we need to do that? Is there someone better doing that? And are we going to add to waste if we do that? So it's just a case of helping. These babies being born every single day, and it's a case of focusing on helping the community, which is amazing, to help those mums as well. So it's kind of, that's where we focus on. But in terms of keeping it slow, no idea. That's actually our purpose, is to make life slow and simple. And I don't know the answer, for me personally, because
it's one of our values as well, about slowness. And because I mean, we cut back a lot on nappy brands that we have. I mean, I remember one of the remaining, I think 4 that we cut back to, because it was just, it became overwhelming, and I think a bit pandering, and and it's just one thing I always find is that in the end you're just dressing a bum to collect poo, like you said. So but it's also at the same time you need to create a business that grows and gets the profile so that you can put that message out. It's just a minefield, really.
It is, and you kind of follow the Patagonias of the world, to see how they do it. But they're always putting new products out. So
I struggle with fashion quite a lot. Fashion's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it? Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah, it's hard, but fun in the same way. And I can't imagine having a business not in sustainability and having a product that makes a difference to the world. I don't think I would be able to run a business if it didn't have a purpose was going to do better in the world. And I think it's just keeping that at the forefront of your mind, that we're doing we're in a good business, and it's okay for us to grow because it means we're affecting more change. So I think it's keeping that at the forefront of your mind, because I think we might be looking a bit too deeply at it because you're in it. You're so in this world that you worry, you're like, oh, I don't want to add to that. But it's like, well, it's doing so much good that we're allowed to grow. We shouldn't be made to feel guilty for that.
That's 100% agree. Absolutely. Well, that was heartfelt. I love that. It is that balance. I do. Yeah, it's just hard to navigate, but you're doing excellently. And I love that you've got that set of values that you can kind of work towards. That really, really useful stuff. Just reading again through the comments, Becca, she's left now, but she put, we love your Babbit and Boo bags here. We use them for everything. We took them along in our hospital bag, a bag for me, a bag for baby, dirty washing, etc. Our favourite print is the robins. We took the robin print bag, baby Loretta, as we always say, her great nanny and Bamper are watching over her, and they come to little robins. So that print is perfect for us. That's so sweet. Really, really, yeah.
I think that's Emmy that said that, not.
Oh, sorry, I can't. Yeah, I thought so too, because obviously children. Yeah, but I
names aren't always coming up.
That's what it is. That's what's throwing me. Sorry, Emmy. Okay, so is there anything in the pipeline? Obviously, you kind of maybe answer the question there, like, because you're quite selective about growing the business and incorporating new things. But is there anything new in the pipeline that you?
Not product-wise at the moment, no. We've obviously got the extenders. We're currently prototyping a new sanitary pad, so we've got that going on. But no, nothing really. We just kind of want to get back out into the community after COVID, really, because we had huge plans to kind of, get out and meet mums and things, and we couldn't. So that's really what we're focusing on. Not so much new, more hello to the mum and the mums, really.
No, I think that's perfect. I feel like also, why fix it if it ain't broke? Because there we go. So that's great. hopefully you can embark on getting out into the community more and doing that, because it's important. And like you said, you're spreading a message alongside your product. So yeah, hopefully you can get out there and spread the word, and we can spread it too. So
Oh, thank you. I really love working with you guys. Always a pleasure.
Oh yeah, we love working with you. A big shout out to Sue as well.
Oh yes. Well, I have to say, Sue was the one that came up with our recent extenders. She plugged away at night designing them, and they're very much loved already. So big massive shout out to Sue and all the team, really pulling together to help customers and our community every day.
And also really caring. I have to say, obviously we work with a lot of suppliers and a lot of things, but when on the very rare occasion, things do go wrong, I can feel the real passion about it behind when we contact. I'm sure you do, Beth, as well.
Completely. Whenever we contact, we very rarely have issues, but if you do, that your team are fantastic and you guys really care about your products, and you want to make sure your customers are happy and make sure that they get everything they want to make their nappy journey as easy as possible. So
that means a lot. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
I'm assuming this is Katie. But I just want to say how much I love Bamboo as a supplier. You're always super awesome when I need to pop an email over. So everyone is doing that same thought. That's brilliant. So yeah, so we've got like a quick little quiz. I feel like, Charlotte, are you going to take the lead on this one?
I've lost it now. Where is it?
Oh,
you do it, sorry. I had the questions up, but I didn't have the quiz up, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Let me just grab them quickly. It's not going to be too taxing, hopefully, but we're just going to...
We're springing this on you, sorry.
Right, where have I put these? There we go. Okay.
How well do you know your products? The quiz. Maybe.
My God.
I'll try and go easy on you, but it's all fun and games. We've got 3 questions, and so let's start with question 1. And I mean, like, hopefully I've done my research properly here.
I actually think one of your answers might be wrong, Beth.
Oh no!
But Evil, tell us if it's wrong. I think she will know. But I think one of them's wrong. I'm not sure, but I think.
Okay, well, I had to research on this, so yeah, bear with me if I get anything wrong. But question 1 is, which month and year did you release the Hope collection?
April 21.
Yes.
I have got a really encyclopedic knowledge of prints and collections, so that's a good question.
Okay, Soraya's joining in. Question 2 is, which month and year did you release the Go Slow collection?
That was March 2018. 19, sorry.
Oh, okay, so I've got a different month, but we've got the same year, so I feel like that's a win, because I probably got the wrong month there, so yay! That is so enthusiastic, that man. Okay, and this one is one that I wasn't sure about because I didn't have enough time to spend some more time fact checking and verifying the answer here. So we'll try this one, but may or not be right. But
I think this is the one you got wrong.
Okay, so question 3 is, which year did you release the prints Rio, Hot Air Balloons, Elephant, Harlequin, and Under the Sea?
I think that was 2015.
Oh.
You see, I think you've got the wrong answer, Eden, but you see, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, so we'll have to come back to this. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave the correct answer in the comments because
maybe people watching this know and they can get in touch.
Yeah, some people have got better knowledge than me.
Saying 2015, did you say? And I've got 2016. So yeah, let us know in the comments if you know the correct answer. It's probably Eve because it's your design.
Yeah, I've just had a look and it is 2015.
She's verified it. Sorry, my fact checking was not. I will do better next time. But thank you
so cool
for doing that. It was nice actually to revisit some of the previous. Oh dear, having a little. Oh dear, I'm not sure, but it was nice to. Oh dear, I'm going to mute myself.
Right. Well, yes. Sorry, we've lost Eden because obviously children are what they are. But yeah, it was lovely to chat with you, and thank you for joining in with our little game of how well do you know your products. And yeah, it was lovely to have you. And thank you everybody for watching. And if you're watching this back on repeat, feel free to get in touch and ask any questions. And we'll also pass any questions over to Eve if you have questions for Eve. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.